good at creating useful content, which is why sometimes it might be better to get someone else to create it for you. In this video lesson, we'll cover private label rights, PLR, content. So what is PLR content? Well, private label rights, PLR content, is written material such as articles, eBooks, or autoresponder content that you can purchase and claim authorship of. There are different kinds of PLR content out there, different methods of acquiring it, and different rights given to you once you have acquired it. Generally, however, the right to claim authorship also gains you the right to edit the content, break it apart, compile it into a larger resource, publish it on your website, and so on. In general, PLR content is great for affiliate marketers because it's cheap. You can edit it, insert your own affiliate links, and you don't have to give credit to anyone else. You don't need to look too far to find sites selling PLR content. It's a reasonably lucrative business for writers who can earn a lot more from one article sold to many people than they could earn writing the same article on an exclusive contract. Okay, some top private label article sites are plrpro.com, nicherevolution.com, articleunderground.com, and you can find many more. So what does PLR content look like? PLR content typically comes supplied in packs based around certain topics. For example, you might find a pack of PLR articles on romantic Valentine's gifts or tropical fish aquariums, which each of these will contain a number of articles on that subject. Articles will vary in length, but ideally they'll be at least 350 words long, preferably over 500 words. The quality of PLR articles can vary from provider to provider. Some will be high quality while others will suffer from spelling and grammatical errors or clumsy wording. Even if a PLR provider boasts that their writers are native English speakers, it doesn't necessarily follow that their written English will be impeccable. You probably know people who can speak English perfectly well, but whom you probably wouldn't employ to write articles for you, so just keep that in mind. However, remember that often you will need to do a little editing or rewriting of the PLR content to make it seem more original to the search engines. If you're using it for a search engine optimized site, that is. So you may well be able to just clean up any mistakes along the way yourself. The duplicate content penalty. Duplicate content penalty is where another site uses the same PLR content and the search engines deem your page to be too similar to the other one to warrant a separate search listing. Your page will thus be relegated to the supplemental listings, and you won't receive any traffic to it. This can occur when PLR content is distributed and used by a number of publishers. To avoid this, it is usually recommended that you rewrite at least 50% of the PLR article when you're using it on your website and want it to be indexed. If you're using PLR content for your newsletters or in an ebook, however, it's not usually necessary to reword it other than to customize it for your audience, as this content isn't going to be indexed by the search engines. For more information on the duplicate content penalty, we do have a separate video lesson for this, so you can find that also on our website. Okay, the different types of PLR providers. Well, firstly, there's membership sites. These sites often offer the best value on a cost per article basis. For a set monthly fee, they provide you with a usually astounding number of article packs. For instance, one of our favourites, which is plrpro.com, offers 11 packs of 40 articles, do the math, 440 articles, for a set monthly fee of $97, working out at around 22 cents per article. Often the article packs will be focusing on a subject that the PLR providers thinks is a good potential market for AdSense affiliates, and will include relevant keyword research, suggested affiliate programs, header images, and other bonuses. Another benefit offered by some membership sites is a whole raft of marketing tools, education materials, and community support. These guys are always keen to outdo their competition, so by all means shop around. Be careful, though, not to be blinded by the bonuses and lose sight of what you're actually looking for in a PLR site, which is good PLR content. plrpro.com allows their members to vote on each month's article topics, and if you message a handful of other members to help you by voting for a topic that you suggest, chances are you'll get to have articles written on the topic that you're looking for. However, the downside to most PLR membership sites is that you usually don't get to choose your topics. If you're looking for articles on a particular subject, you could strike it lucky, but usually you'll end up with a hard drive full of articles on subjects like decorative garden fountains. If you're interested in building sites for AdSense, however, this can be an absolute godsend. I bet it would have taken you a while to hit upon decorative garden fountains as a topic for an AdSense site. With the initial research already done for you by the PLR provider, all you need to do is make it work. Okay, purchasing individual packs. You may also stumble across websites offering single packs of PLR content for a one-off purchase price. This purchase price will be lower than the monthly cost of a PLR membership, but will usually work out to be more expensive on a per-article basis. For instance, a pack of 40 articles selling for $19.95 works out at around 50 cents per article, which is still good value. The downside to this method is that the content can be very much hit and miss. The site has no need to maintain a happy member base, so might feel at liberty to skimp on content quality. You're also likely to miss out on the community aspects of the membership sites, but as mentioned earlier, this isn't the real reason you're looking for PLR content anyway. And finally, there's other sources. If you spend some time hanging around the internet marketing forums, you're bound to stumble across people selling PLR packs reasonably cheaply, sometimes for as low as $2 or $3 for hundreds of articles. You won't find any guarantees as to the quality or distribution of the articles, but if you're planning on doing some rewriting, then you can find some great bargains here. You can even find PLR articles in eBooks and software for sale on eBay. Search for private label rights. Alright, some things to check when considering PLR content. What is the distribution of the content? Basically, how many people have access to the same PLR content? Are article packs restricted to a certain number of purchases? Is the content freely distributed without check or measure? These questions become important if you're looking for original, interesting content that your readers haven't seen before, or if you're planning to post the PLR articles as is and you're concerned about Google's alleged duplicate content penalty. The fewer people with access to your PLR pack, the less chance you have of being beaten to the finish line or search engine listing by some other keen PLR publisher. A lot of membership sites will restrict their PLR packs to a certain number of their members so that only a few hundred people receive the same articles that you're receiving. One-off PLR purchase from websites might also restrict to a set number of people. PLR packs you purchase through forums or eBays will usually offer the right for resale and will therefore not be restricted to a set number of people. After all, when everyone is able to sell the pack, how can you possibly track how many have been sold? If you're planning on doing some editing or rewriting of your PLR content, you may wish to consider whether this is a factor that actually affects you. If you're going to be modifying your PLR articles to be substantially different from the originals, it shouldn't matter too much whether there are many people using the same original source articles. You should also consider the fact that if a limited number of people, for example 200, have access to the same article as you, then even less will actually get around to actually using it. Most likely only 5 or 10% or even less will actually use that article pack. So the number of other sites using it isn't as high as it first sounds. Okay, is the content any good? Whether this factors into your evaluation of a PLR product depends on what reason you want your PLR content for. If you're creating an autoresponder series with PLR content, it's vital that the content is absolutely top quality, since your readers will quickly unsubscribe if it's not. If you're compiling PLR content into a viral ebook, it's also reasonably important that the material is readable, since you need people to actually read the content and click on your links for the ebook to be useful to you. If you're building a site for AdSense, you might get away with lower quality content, since your overall goal is to get people clicking away from your site through your AdSense ads. It all depends on whether you actually want to engage your readers or if you're simply looking for fluff. If you're looking for good, engaging content, check the following. Are there any spelling or grammatical mistakes in the articles? You don't need to be too picky here. If they're splitting the occasional infinitive, it's not the end of the world. But if there are blatant mistakes that make the article sound like it was written by someone for which English was not a first language, then alarm bells should be sounding. If you're not too sure about this, give the article to a well-read friend and ask them what they think. Does the article actually even make sense? Does it say anything? One big problem with PLR content and cheap writers on sites like elance.com is that a few authors manage to write 300 to 400 word articles that don't actually say anything. Once you've been through the article looking for spelling and grammar mistakes, go back over it and see if it's telling you anything useful. If it seems useful, go back over it again and see if it's actually correct. Writers aren't necessarily experts on these subjects. And here are some ideas for using PLR content. Reword them for website content yourself, or hire someone to do this for you. Compile a PLR article pack into an ebook and use it as a viral marketing tool. Use them in your autoresponder series. Use the articles to create scripts for YouTube videos. You could simply create videos similar to this one, which contain a number of PowerPoint slides and photos. Put them up on YouTube and embed them into your own website. YouTube is a growing source of internet traffic, and not many people are using private label rights in this way. Pick bits from different articles and create a new and original mashup. Or use PLR articles as a starting point for research and inspiration. And this lesson summary. In this lesson, you've learned that PLR content is content you're able to edit and claim as your own. PLR content is useful for affiliates because you're able to use it in pretty much whatever way you want. Post it on your website, use it in newsletters, compile it into eBooks, for example. PLR content typically comes in packs focusing around a particular topic. It can vary in quality depending on the provider, and a lot of PLR content is written by people with dubious grasp of English, but can still be used with judicious rewording. There are a variety of sources for PLR content, and they include membership sites, which charge a monthly fee and deliver a huge number of articles and article packs. This source has a very low cost per article and restriction of distribution of packs, but you don't get to choose the topics. There's one-off purchases from websites. This source has a higher cost per article, distribution is possibly restricted, and you get to choose the topics. However, there is a risk of poor quality content. One-off purchases from forums or eBay, well, this source can be very low cost per